Good afternoon and welcome to Tekkies. I'm David Gillum. Our co-host Andy Baker could not be with us tonight, so we have invited a special guest and comic book expert Aaron Gabbard to the show with us. How are you doing tonight, Aaron?
Doing pretty good. How you doing?
Doing good. Aaron, we have a special show for us today. Since we have our special guest, we will also be doing 2 movie reviews rather than 1, and we will also have a live tech help regarding headphones done by our own Aaron Gabbard himself. So
I brought some very special toys and stuff for us tonight, man. We're going to have a good show, man. I got some headphones. I got the Harry Potter box set. We got some good packages to show you. I mean, I can't wait to get into it.
Good deal, good deal. We got a great show for you tonight. First off, we'll be talking about something that a lot of y'all may not be familiar with, something called magic towels. Aaron, you want to talk a little bit about the magic towels for us?
Magic towels are these compressed blocks. You drop them in some water, bickety bam, you got a towel. You want to wash your face, you want some cheap towels to put in your pocket to pack around with you, nothing like a magic towel.
And what size are we talking?
Well, we're talking about little small cubes. I mean, you could probably fit two of those in a pack of cigarettes or something, you know. Just slide them in the box, bickety bam, towels right
Definitely
there.
sounds like something that would be very handy to use. And what makes these towels so special that we're talking about?
They're cheap. For $1 a piece. I mean, in some places you can find them for $1, but there's nothing like having a towel that you can just pack around with you that's compressed, and they even look cool. They got like cool little pictures of them, of your favorite comic book heroes, from Batman to Spider-Man. I mean, these towels are great.
Sounds like a toy we used to play with as kids, like the little sponges. So
let's take a look at the package and see what we got here.
Yes, we will. We got a magic towel package. So guys, take a look at this.
During my search for super cheapo treasures, I stumbled upon some really cool magic towels. Yeah, that's right, magic towels. So what's a magic towel? Well, it's a compressed block that when you add water to it, it turns into a towel. So after finding these cool little items that feature not only Spider-Man but Batman, I purchased 6 of these just to show you the awesomeness of these little towels. Although you're supposed to add water to these things, I decided to open one up just to show you what they look like. If you don't add water, they can be a little crusty to open, almost like somebody used a towel to blow their nose and then let them dry. These things can make great on-the-go towels as well as little collector's items. So how much do you think you would pay for such coolness? Well, in all honesty, I was hoping to pay like 50 cents each or 3 for $1, but nope, they run a smooth $1 each, but I have to say they're worth it. The only problem with these little things is that they're so cheap that the paint can fall off if they're washed or used a lot. So this week I will be giving 2 lucky winners 6 towels each, featuring Spider-Man and Batman. All you gotta do is just leave a comment.
Magic towels, definitely something I had never heard of, but definitely seems like something that would be a collector's item for comic book fans all over the place. So speaking of comic book fans, you are an avid comic book fan yourself. Tell us a little bit about the Comic Book Jerk website that you go with. Tell us a little bit.
Comic Book Jerk gives me a chance to relive some of those comic book movies that just completely destroyed my childhood. It's like, you know, Wolverine Origins, for example, to me is one of the worst comic book movies I think I've ever seen. And I wanted to just rip that apart and show people what was so horrible about that movie. And I also like to find little unique things like the magic towels, or some superhero things that not a lot of people know about, and they're unique. I've also done a couple other reviews, like Superman Doomsday review, where I trace back like the origins of the death of Superman.
Awesome. Well, guys, we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back after this. And welcome back to Tekkies. If you're just now joining us, we have special guest and comic book expert Aaron Gabbard on the show with us tonight. Aaron owns a website called comicbookjerk.com that he's been telling us about. Aaron, if you want to talk a little bit about what really got you interested in comic books and where does this come from?
Well, I first started writing articles for comicbookmovie.com under the alias Hillbilly Shadow. And some friends of mine talked me into doing these reviews. And they wanted reviews that was just out of the mundane. They wanted something that was just completely ridiculous and something that was kind of vulgar, but not too vulgar, just enough to get the point across. Because a lot of comic book fans are really disappointed by these movies. I mean, it's just like my first comic book movie I ever seen was Superman. And it just, after Richard Donner left the first movie and it went into the second and the third one, like The Quest for Peace and stuff like that, the movies just, it seems like the longer they go with them, the more that they just get ridiculous. Like Spider-Man 3, for instance, was just terrible. I mean, it's just something that you have to show people or they don't understand it.
Completely agree. Well, now let's change pace a little bit and talk about our next movie review. We're going to be talking about what has become, over the past few years since I was a child, a phenomenon that everyone has fell in love with, known as the one and only Harry Potter. We're going to be reviewing the Harry Potter movies today. Harry Potter is something that has grasped people from all over the world, and everyone has just fell in love with Harry Potter, and now the popular book was turned into a movie series that just broke the charts for record and for money and for movies. And we're going to take a look at that, those movies, a review of those movies here in just a second. Aaron, what do you think about the Harry Potter?
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Harry Potter. And after you see this video, you're going to understand why.
All righty, well, let's take a look at it right now.
In 2000, the world was introduced to a film series that would become one of the most loved film series of all time. Based on a popular book series, the Harry Potter films transformed the lives of people everywhere. The first Harry Potter film, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, introduces us to Harry and his best friends, Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger. In this film, Harry learns the truth about his parents and how they died. He learns that a dark and dangerous wizard killed his parents. That wizard's name was Voldemort, though most refer to him as he who must not be named. Throughout the films, Harry learns more about Voldemort, and why, in the end, Harry or Voldemort will have to kill the other.
The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches. And the Dark Lord shall mark him as his equal, but he shall have power the Dark Lord knows not. For neither can...
While this is the overall storyline of the series, each film itself has its own storyline. Throughout the films, we are introduced to many new characters, some of which are good.
Professor Moody, what are you doing here?
Rescuing you, of course. Shh. Not here, Nymphadora.
Don't call me Nymphadora.
Serious?
And others that are evil. The last book in the series is broken down into two separate films, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Why is it so a surprise?
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 is about Harry, Ron, and Hermione as they set out to find and destroy the remaining Horcruxes, and in doing so will allow them to kill Voldemort once and for all.
I appreciate the thought, but really, given the fact that we were almost killed by a couple of Death Eaters a few minutes ago?
Right. Perspective.
The second film, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, is the most action-packed film of the series.
Welcome back to Tekkies. I'm your co-host, Aaron Gabbard, and we got a special surprise for you right here. We've got the entire Harry Potter Blu-ray set, minus the Half-Blood Prince and the Deathly Hallows.
We've got a huge collection of DVDs here. It's amazing that each one of these movies has just grossed so much money for the Harry Potter franchise. It's just like, it's just wild. What do you...
What's also cool about the set is you got an interactive DVD here that you can play as much as you want to. You know, you've got trivia questions, and it comes with a marked case, like a bookmark full of I guess these are like what? Book openers or what? Letter openers?
Looks to me like it.
Yeah. But it also comes with another disc of extra bonus features.
And not only do we have all the movies, but it comes with a number of just regular collector's items that we have here. Harry Potter trading cards that are still in wrapper. I feel like you haven't taken them out yet.
And it actually comes,
in the envelope
yeah.
that Harry Potter was sent in the very first movie.
Oh, look. Got another surprise. An extra set. Look at old Ron Weasley. Can we get a close-up of old Ron Weasley here? Bring it on in here. Oh.
So yeah, I mean, this is a great collection to have. It's definitely something that will be timeless forever. It'll be something that people will always go back and watch. I know people still go back and watch the very first Harry Potter. I can remember being in elementary school years ago and being at a friend's house watching the very first Harry Potter, just when it was just beginning to come into life, and what it turned into is just amazing. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back to discuss another movie for you. Stay tuned. And we're back to Tekkies, and we're here with a special guest host for the day, Aaron Gabbard. He's a comic book expert that we've had to share his expertise on various comic books. But we just now discussed the Harry Potter madness that you would call all the different Harry Potter movies that were great. But now we're going to turn the tide a little bit and talk about another movie known as Firefly. And Aaron, why don't you tell us a little bit about that movie?
Firefly is created by Joss Whedon, who also did an amazing run on the Astonishing X-Men. I mean, it was just spectacular what he's done to comic book movies. He's also going to be the director of the Avengers coming up pretty soon. And Serenity, like most of Joss Whedon's creations, is also a comic book too. Like after the series wrapped up, he kind of did the same thing that he did with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, except he kicked it off a little bit better and made these graphic novels that are just, I mean, they're amazing. I mean, one of them's called Serenity, Those Left Behind, and then there's another one called Better Days by Dark Horse Comics. It's actually a pretty good series run. I mean, what he's doing with comic books, he attends a lot of those comic book conventions and stuff too. I mean, to a lot of underground fans, he's just like a genius. But it seems like most of his shows don't really get picked up for more than 1 or 2 seasons. I mean, it's got to be pretty rough for Joss Whedon.
So you feel that the movie will have a great deal of success, and a lot of people will want to come out, or a lot of people will want to see the movie?
I think the Avengers could have it. I mean, it could be one of the biggest blockbusters of the year. I mean, it's just one of those movies where you've got all these superheroes colliding, and it's something that's never been done before over a franchise of movies like Harry Potter or something. It's going to be one of those franchises.
Well, guys, let's shut up for a minute and let's actually take a look at the review of Firefly.
Hi, I'm Joss Whedon. I have a little story I want to tell you. It's about a TV show called Firefly.
Take my love, take my land, take me where I cannot stand. I don't
On September 20th, 2002, writer and director Joss Whedon, of such fame as Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Dr. Horrible sing-along blog, premiered the first episode of Firefly. Set in a different star system than ours, and in the year 2517, Firefly is a mix of Western and space drama. In it, humanity has moved off of what is now known as the Earth that was, to small planets and moons that have been made inhabitable. The government, known as the Alliance, is a mixture of the American and Chinese governments from the Earth that was.
No mandatory registration markings on the bow. Make sure we cite them for that.
The story follows the ship and the crew of Malcolm Reynolds, known as Mal, as he takes his Firefly-class spaceship, named Serenity, on expeditions to various planets in order to make money. Some legal, but many not.
Got us some crime to be done.
Along for the ride are second-in-command Zoe Washburn.
Now we have a boat full of citizens right on top of our stolen cargo. That's a fun mix.
And her husband, pilot of Serenity, Hoban, who simply goes by Wash.
What can it be? We're all doomed. Who's flying this thing? All right, that would be me. Back to work.
Their mechanic, Kaylee Fry, is a down-home country girl with a heart for machinery.
Just take your G line, plug it straight into the port pin lock. That should, there!
What'd you do? She fixed it.
Jane Cobb is basically the bodyguard of the group and is often given a hard time for being the brute.
Jane is a girl's name.
Well, Jane ain't a girl.
Inara Sarah is a companion, which is kind of like a legal, futuristic escort service.
And the captain finds that having a companion on board opens certain doors that might otherwise be closed to him.
In the pilot, the crew takes on 3 passengers. Shepard Book, who is similar to a chaplain or a missionary.
Been out of the world for a spell, like the walk of the wild.
And Simon Tam and his sister River. Simon and River slowly become the main plot of the series. Simon being a doctor who gave up everything in order to save River, who was a child prodigy from a government testing facility.
River was more than gifted. She was a gift.
We didn't fly 86 million miles to track down a box of Band-Aids, Colonel.
We're looking for a girl. This girl.
Consequently, River ends up being a bit unpredictable.
You know that's not
Stop yelling at her. That's
River, sweetheart. Very sure you want nothing to do with that.
While Firefly currently has a rapidly increasing fan base of its own, it has become mostly a cult classic as, after only 1 season, it was cancelled due to low ratings. The fans immediately attempted to get the show picked up by another station, but instead a movie was made titled Serenity, that concludes many of the storylines that were left unanswered in the show. Still, the fact that such a short-lived show has garnered such a large fan base is impressive to say the least. Available on DVD and Blu-ray, as well as streamable on sites such as Netflix, Firefly is definitely worth checking out.
Mercy is the mark of a great man. Guess I'm just a good man. Well, I'm all right.
Welcome back to Tekkies. As you can see, we've kind of made a little mess of the desk here. We're getting ready for our live tech help regarding headphones. But first, we just watched a review of the movie and television show Firefly. Aaron, do you have anything else you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, it's kind of upsetting that show only got 1 season, and then it followed up with 1 movie, which, you know, I'm not going to give anything away, but some weird stuff happens that kind of makes you kind of upset and worried, you know, about the characters that go on. But the comic books cleared up very nicely, and Nathan Fillion, the lead actor of Firefly, is a great actor. I mean, a lot of the times I look at him and, you ever played Uncharted?
Yes.
Uncharted?
Yeah.
Well, that dude reminds me of the perfect actor for Uncharted. He looks like him and acts like him. I mean, he's a regular, you know, Indiana Jones.
Good deal. Well, now let's take a look at some of these headphones you have here.
Well, a lot of these headphones are you know, reasonably priced headphones to get that 7.1 Dolby surround sound. I mean, you won't get 7 speakers, of course, but you'll get a digital representation of Dolby surround sound. So instead of hearing gunfire or something, if you're playing a first-person shooter from the left and the right, you're going to hear the footsteps like way behind you. You're going to hear them like, you know, in front of you. Say, you know, you're blowing up a tank in Battlefield 3. I mean, you can hear how far that tank is away. I mean, you can pinpoint accuracy. And this first set right here, the Triton AX720s, there's a few pros and cons. I mean, they got great sound, and these have lasted me so long. I mean, you know, I've had these headphones for like maybe a year or two, and they got a lot of good durability. I mean, the only problem is that you have to hook it up to an optical audio port in the back in order to get that I guess the 7.1 surround sound. And I mean, some of the cons would be, I mean, these large cables can really, you know, get tangled up. You know, you worry about them, you know, tripping over them and stuff. But these are good because they work with all 3 systems. I mean, they work with the PS3, the Xbox 360, and the PC. I mean, they're a great set of headphones listed for maybe $150. You know, you might be able to find them cheaper online. But then the second set that I've got here is the Turtle Beach PX21s. I mean, these are okay, but I mean, these are just basically stereo headphones. I mean, they're not going to give you that punch unless you buy the Air Force DSS. The Air Force DSS is a 7.1 channel, you know, mixer amp that, you know, you just hit Dolby bypass on it, run it through optical audio port. But another con of this is it's going to take 2 cables. I mean, you're going to have an optical audio port, and you're going to have a mini USB in, which kind of makes it very difficult to, you know, to mess with. And plus, they're not very durable. I mean, I've had this set, you know, for maybe 2 weeks, and they already broke on me. And I've had several sets. I've had 4 sets of these, and for $80 a pop, man, you know, for them to be broke, you know, I might as well just throw them off the desk, you know. They're junk, I mean, basically. But the best headphones I've found so far, these don't work with Xbox 360, but they do work with PS3, and they're wireless. All you need is this little USB stick, and they're brilliant headphones. 7.1 Dolby surround sound, all on a little USB. I mean, you can't get no better than that.
Aaron, real quick, we're about to run out of time. About how much about are these headphones a piece?
These cost about $100 even, $150, and then those crappy Ear Force. Once you buy this, it's expensive.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching Tekkies.